All right, what's going on, guys? We're back again with another video. This video is gonna be a little different today. I'm gonna do a little story time. I get home from work today, and my new passport came in the mail today, and I'm gonna tell y'all the story about the hell I went through to get this thing. so, we're gonna go all the way back to March of 2020, around my 30th birthday. So, um, So on March 1st, 2020, I was going to Egypt via Paris on Air France. So, everything was cool. I board the flight, settle in for 8 hours, no big deal. All right, cool. So I fall asleep on the flight. I wake up probably like, say, about 2 hours before landing in Paris, and I notice that my passport is gone. Like, it was nowhere to be found. I thought it was, I checked my pockets, checked under the seat next to me, nowhere to be found. Like, I was seriously freaking out. Like, I was like, oh my god, where's my passport at? So we land at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. Everybody gets off the plane. Me and the flight attendants literally destroy the cabin looking for this damn thing. Nowhere to be found. So, I'm thinking to myself, I can just go to the embassy and get a new passport and continue my journey onwards. I had a photocopy of it along with a passport card as proof of citizenship. So I'm thinking, that'll help me get through immigration so I can go to the embassy in Paris and get a new passport. Nope, it was not. And the pure devastation on my face was evident. Like, I could not believe it. So Air France flies me back to Chicago 2.5 hours later after I land in Paris. So, I let everybody know what's going on Facebook. I post an update, that sort of thing. I was just devastated. I was just, this was like literally 2.5 weeks after my father passed away. So I was already stressed out, and this just made it so much worse. So Air France flies me all the way back to Chicago 2.5 hours later. I let everybody know what's going on. I connect to the Wi-Fi on the plane on the way back to Chicago, and people were literally willing to help me get a new passport. So, all the people in the travel community, my closest friends and family, they literally helped me get a new passport. They sent me enough money to get a new one while I was in flight back to the United States, which is a huge blessing. So I I land in Chicago, and I check my Cash App, and there's enough money in there for a new passport and a new flight back to Cairo. So I shout out to the travel community, guys, because I couldn't have done it without them. So I get through, I get escorted off the plane because I don't have a passport. So, I had that photocopy with me, so they knew who I was. I guess Air France called, um, you know, immigration in the United States, letting them know that I was coming, because they actually called my name over the intercom, and I got off the plane first. So I get to passport control. They let me through. I go to baggage claim, and Air France did not put my luggage on the flight. So I get back home with no clothes, no nothing. So I spent the night at my friend's house, and we went to Walmart, and I literally bought new clothes. He let me borrow one of his suitcases, and I booked the new flight to Cairo, leaving the next evening. So 6 a.m. rolls around. I head downtown Chicago. I give them all my documents for the new passport. 6 hours later, they give it to me. But that particular passport was only valid for 1 year. And that's because my other passport was still valid. So you can't have two valid passports on your file. So they gave me like an emergency passport that's valid for 12 months. So I was able to use that for travel. So, you know, I flew out to Egypt that night via Istanbul at like 9 p.m. So, fast forward a couple of months, I'm back to the United States, this, that, and the other. Um, then COVID happens. And, all the passport offices nationwide were pretty much shut down for months. So I couldn't renew it right away when I got home. So, it was no big deal. I wasn't traveling anywhere anytime soon anyway. So, it was just second thought. So, September rolls around about Labor Day. I was going to Mexico. And luckily, Mexico, with their passport requirements, it just needs to be valid for the duration of your trip. A lot of countries have a passport rule where it has to be valid for 6 months or longer after your trip is over. So Mexico, you don't need that, didn't need to happen. So I just used that passport I used for Egypt to travel to Mexico. So I'll get back, get back home from Mexico. I procrastinated a little bit. I had a lot going on between work and, personal life, that sort of thing. So I didn't renew the passport right away. So I actually booked a flight to Tanzania that was, for February 2021. More on that later. So now's the time to renew the passport. So I sent it off December 11th of 2020. Expedited, that sort of thing, so I can get it back in time for a February 25th departure. I was like, okay, cool. So, I figured, with the holidays and stuff, it'll be delayed a little bit, which is understandable. So, January, after, the next business day after New Year's rolls around, my passport's still not in the system when you check on it online on the Department of State site. So I'm like, okay, what is going on here? I sent this off damn near 3 weeks ago, and it's not even in the system. So I call the post office, and they're all like, "Oh, we're experiencing some unprecedented delays. This, that, and the other. Call the passport office. We sent it off. It's no longer our possession. Call the Department of State." I was like, okay, cool. So I called the Department of State, and they don't have it in the system. I gave my name, date of birth, and social. They don't have it in the system. So they tell me to call the post office back. I was like, okay, I called the post office back. They're telling me to go back to the Department of State. So they're giving me like the runaround pretty much. I did what I was supposed to do. They say they sent off my passport. The Department of State doesn't have my passport. So I'm like, where is it? I paid the expedited fee and everything, and they didn't even receive it yet. So I'm getting concerned. I'm like, did it get lost? Did you guys send it to the wrong address? So I called the post office again to see if they can give me a tracking number on it. So they gave me a tracking number, but that particular tracking number was going to, I think, like Irvine, Texas or something. So that particular number they gave me was incorrect after speaking with a guy that actually handles passports at the post office. So he was telling me that the number they gave you was incorrect, and he apologized for the inconvenience, that sort of thing. So so they were just giving me the runaround for like a month. So I get an email on January 21st, 2021, like 5 weeks later, after I mailed it off. It was like, oh, your passport's finally in the system. I'm like, thank you, Jesus, because I was under the impression they sent it off to the wrong place, and the Department of State, they would have, it would have got intercepted somewhere. So praise God that they got it on January 21st, 5 weeks later. So now I'm playing the waiting game to see when I'm gonna get my passport back. So I just, then I just keep watching it like a hawk. And when I got that email saying that, it was approved and then it shipped, man, when I tell you, when I got this thing in the mail, I feel like a kid in a candy store. So just word of advice, if you're planning on getting a passport during this pandemic, I recommend you expedite it, but just be patient. So just plan your trip well in advance so you can get your passport, because I actually had to push my Tanzania trip back because I was actually afraid I wasn't going to get this in time. But I'm actually glad I did push the trip back anyway, because with these new COVID rules coming out where you have to have a negative COVID test come back in the United States. So, I changed the ticket to an open ticket so I can have the rest of the year to use it. But the way my luck was set up, I don't think I would have got this thing in time if I didn't push the trip back. So I'm glad I made that conscious decision to move it, because I was not sure I was going to get this passport back in time. I expedited it, I expedited the passport expecting to get it, expecting expedited processing. But yeah, I'm glad it's over. So, word of advice: when you're traveling, keep your documents on you, like guarded with your life. Because to this day, I don't even know where my other passport is. It's nowhere to be found. I had so many stamps in that passport. Like, I had a Russian visa in there that I had to get over again. I had all these stamps for all over the world. I got to start completely over. I'm okay with that at this point. Because, new passport, fresh start. But yeah, it was a nightmare. It really was. And I'm glad it's over. I swear I am. Because I was getting really stressed out. So, don't make the same mistake I did. Don't lose your passport and then book a trip knowing you don't have a passport, expecting to get it before you leave. So yeah, just be careful, guys. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that that harrowing story of my misfortune with my travel documents. Don't make the same mistake I did. But yeah, I'm back in business for the next 10 years. And I'm going to guard this thing with my life. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And stay tuned for the next video.